Hello, viewers. Today is another interesting day on Broken Not Shattered. Um, Today is going to be unusual because we'll not be having our regular host with us this evening, um, Mr. Ike. I think he's out to perform some duties, and I'm going to be standing in for him today. So it's nice being back again on the show today, and I'm happy to be with you guys. Um, Last week show was a very interesting moment, and we had time, you know, talking just on a neutral level on mental health, and we didn't dive deep into it. We're trying to be mindful of how we discuss it, leaving it for professionals. Today, we're going to be looking at what I consider a popular saying that says, um, "Tough time never lasts, but tough people do." So you can agree with me that there are tough times, and one of the tough times could be now. But today I'm looking at how we can relate it to our day-to-day life. Um, I have a guest today who, through his stories, will touch on this tough time and how tough people were able to last. So I'm going to be bringing him up, and I would want him to, you know, introduce himself properly as well. I have I can on the show.
Yeah. Thank you very much for having me on the show. Good no Shatad. I will start by introducing myself. My name is Kene Ezala, the founder of Teen Girls in Blockchain, in abbreviation TGIB. I'm a media consultant, blockchain media consultant, a girl child advocate, and also an advisor to blockchain startup companies in Africa. That's what I do at the moment.
I trust in Ekene. It's nice having you on the show. Ekene, today I want you to be relaxed and let's have a conversation. Okay?
Yeah.
Have you come across that saying? Tough time never lasts, but tough people do.
Yeah, it's a regular saying here in Africa, I would say. It's a regular
Okay,
saying.
yeah.
Yeah.
I agree, I agree with you. It's a regular saying. And today I want you to take your time. You're going to tell us your story, and you're going to be relating it with your tough times and how you were able. In fact, I want to ask you a question before you go in there. That saying, has it ever applied to you so far in your life?
Yeah. It has in so many ways, I would say. Uh, Different aspect of my life, religious and all that, it has in a big way.
Okay, I think I can then we will go on just a very short break. While we're coming back, I want you to prepare your mind. We're going to be beginning with your stories. Ekene, you're going to tell us your stories so far, and then we'll take it up from there. We're going to be going on a short break. So, viewers, again, this is Broken Not Shattered, and you can follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And if you have stories, do write us to tell us your stories. Ekne, you're welcome. The stage is yours, and I want you,
Thank you
like,
very much.
please tell us your story.
Okay. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. I would start first of all with who I am and where I'm from. Uh, my name is actually long, but I have to say it on the show. My name is Ekinikam Chukwu Ezala. I'm from Imo State in Nigeria, Africa. I'm proud to be an African. But it has never been easy to be an African, a human being first before being an African. So I would start my story this way. First of all, I got into so many things in my past years of living. I've had so many experiences, ranging from academics to spirituality to mental as well. But I will start with my academies. It all started back then when I was in JS1. I had to start with a school. I attended Government College, Umuahia. Okay, sorry, during my primary school times, I was quite brilliant. Not too brilliant, but at least I know I was brilliant enough. I did very well. Going into the secondary school, my JS1, I had a bad academic record. I was around 31 out of 50. You know, it demoralized me. I was like, what's happening to me? And all that. Second time I had 25 out of 50. I was man, what's all these? And then at the end of the term, I discovered that I'm not even getting close to who I was. Um, I kept on, trying to see what I can do around academies. Deep down into SS1, SS2, JS3, JS2 actually, I encountered a kind of some friends in the boarding school. I met a lot of shit. I went to a mixed school. I saw people practice a lot of shit. Actually, I nearly got into that, but I just thank God I had pull up. Then coming down to my university, that was where my story, I would say, it has a big effect on me academically. So I got into the university with the hope of studying microbiology. Uh, I got admission into microbiology in 2010. I was quite happy to study microbiology and venture into science very well. But along the line, it was discovered that I had a physics. I have F9 in physics, so I had to step up to agricultural education. So when I started agricultural education, it was a hell no. Like when I mean a hell, I don't know what they were talking about. I began failing courses. My 100 level, I actually first semester, I had the worst result of my life. I failed close to 6 courses, and one was credit load. I didn't say, I said, okay, it's maybe second semester I can do. Second semester I tried, I came up. So from my second year, depression set in. But I am someone who don't really look at things like it's happening like at that moment. So I didn't call it anything. I didn't really know what depression was all about. I said to say, okay, this second semester I will venture into reading very well in academies to study, know that okay, this is what I came for. The truth was I read more than I did I've ever done in my life. And second semester, 200 level first semester became the worst result of my academic year ever. I had to fail about that was 6 courses, but the credit load was large. So I told myself I'm not going to read anymore. Not go anything reading, I'm not doing it. What I am now is if I enter the exam hall, anyhow I see life, I should come out with it. Depression set in. I didn't see academics as anything. Studying wasn't my thing and all that. So I had to start doing several things, see how I can come into academics. But I discover I'm not getting there. I'm seriously not getting there. So fast forward to my 300 level, I couldn't get a good result, but I had to, after my 400 level, which is supposed to be my normal E of duration, I stayed extra 5 years in school. That was 9 years. So depression set in during my first extra year in school. It was very crazy, very, very crazy because I had to start writing 100 level exams, going to meet the people who I'm not all to meet in school. So many things happened. I couldn't even start paying school fees. I couldn't imagine myself meeting, going to classes. I couldn't imagine myself doing a lot of things. It really shrank me. It really laid me down. And I wasn't going home to my parents. That's the truth. Each time it's holiday, I have to stay back in school, find one excuse. And things weren't even working. That's what each exam I take, I keep failing, and I keep failing. I was asking myself, what's the problem? Where am I not getting it right? I had to start attending lectures, doing a lot of things. So as it happened, 2009, I was able to finish off from school. That's 9 years. I did 9 years in university instead of that depression was it was so much on me. But 2018, I made up my mind. I said one thing. I'm a believer. I believe in God. I believe in His word. I got to discover that there are two things that were actually my problem. Two things were just my problem: fear and not believing in God. Fear and not believing in God. These are my actual problems. Then I did not believe myself, which is the fear, and I did not believe the Holy Spirit direction. I was doing everything on my own to see. So 2018, I made up my mind to say, I'm going into this. I'm going to do this with God. Without God, I'm not going anywhere. I had to sit down. I prayed one evening. I said, God, let your will be done in my life. Direct me. So 2018, I wrote the final exam I said I'm going to write. And 2019, boldly I went to the admin to request for my statement. Lo and behold, my result was approved 2017, and I didn't know. So that was where I said fear and not believing God was the thing that really affected me, because I didn't believe I would pass. I didn't believe I would go far. So fast forward into after school, I went for youth service. I started my journey on blockchain media things. It was not working. I started 2017 in the blockchain space. Nothing was actually working for me. I had no funds. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do anything when I mean anything. So actually, I started the media with a couple of friends. Along the line, 2 years after we registered the company, we started running, believing God for, something huge, something better. So we ran that. I was moving from Abia State to Lagos, from Lagos to Port Harcourt. We are going for events, hoping that things will actually pop up very well. But relating my story, I'll just come in a little, relating my story to say tough times don't last, but tough people do. Was in 2018, I actually believed that that word is not negative, but it's positive. You understand? Because it dawned on me that I'm a tough guy. If I can stay all through the school for that 9 years or that 8 years, and I now discover that without God and without being faithful and without being strong, you can't really pull through, in life. I had to sit back. I had to come back. And then during the journey of being a blockchain expert or a media expert in the blockchain, a lot of things happened. And that was one of my biggest blow in life. That was one of my biggest blow in life. Whenever you are doing something, I would just say it as an advice. Whenever one is doing something in life, you ought to know, without believing God and without trusting God, you are going nowhere. The direction of the Holy Spirit is all that matters. So back to my story, 2017, 2019, we registered the company, we started running and all that. So coming to 2022 last year, something really happened, and that's the biggest story of my life. That's the biggest story of my life. I thought I was actually doing well. I thought I was actually believing God, but I never knew. I never trusted the God. I never knew I was doing that on my own, even after He helped me during my university days. So I was broken, and I was broken by friends who I trusted. I was broken by situations that I trusted.
Okay. Then I get it clearly that you were broken. I understand, and I get it clear that there were several things that happened. But remember, we're so concerned to know about those things that happened in depth. I don't know if you feel comfortable sharing with us, the details of the story. We just want to know, what those tough times were and how you were able to get
Yeah.
through those, believing that somebody
Okay.
somewhere might be listening to you and might have similar encounter. And knowing that he was able to
Yeah.
pull through, he definitely helped you. Definitely will pull through.
Yeah. One of the tough times I would say in terms of my academic that happened was during my stay in school. I Nobody was definitely there to pay my fees or give me money. I sorted everything myself. I tried my best, and the least of it was that family didn't believe in me anymore. I lost the trust of family. I was very broken then because losing the trust of your parents, it's siblings or people who really believe that you can do this, and it went to an extent that they had to do an investigation with me if really I went to the university, if really I'm a student in school. That really broke me. Those moments, it really broke me because I can't imagine myself going back home and people asking me, where is your certificate? How many years you've spent in school? Then coming to my career aspect, like I said last year, um, my friends actually broke the trust we had. Waking up in the morning and receiving a letter from somebody you co-founded something with, telling you that you are no longer part of this and that they are taking you out, even without anything, without no explanation. I won't lie, I got mentally damaged because I was left with nothing. I was left with nothing. Nothing. I mean nothing. I was left with nothing. I had nobody. I had nobody. I was broken. I was really broken.
Okay, okay, that's fine. I heard you talk about your business and business betrayal. Um, what happened in that time of the business, and how did the betrayal come about? And then what were you able to get
Yeah,
out of that?
the business betrayal was from family and a friend. Like I would say, family and friends. I didn't see it coming. I never expected it. So waking up in the morning, 1st of August, and receiving a letter that you are no longer part of the company you've built for 5 years. After raising huge amount of money and all that, it was very crazy. It was I don't even know where to start. It was the highest betrayal I saw in my life, which I have never seen. I have not seen that. So I never knew it was coming. Uh, and it broke me. I was emotionally down, I was mentally down, I was even physically down because I couldn't do anything for days, even for weeks. I couldn't reason, I couldn't think about it. I don't know where it was coming. I didn't know it was. So it was a huge blow for me at that point in time. So I had to take uh okay.
So ask you why and how why what prompted the betrayal? Why?
I seriously I would say what prompted the betrayal from my own perspective, because we've not been able to talk. For me, I saw greed, I saw envy, I saw yeah, these are the two things I saw. I saw people who distrust you, who don't even trust you in the business. So I guess that was what prompted it. But from my end, it was nothing. I can't really talk. But from every indication, trust and mistrust and stuff like that led to that.
So how were
So
you able to
I had to pick up myself.
go ahead?
Okay, yeah, I had to pick up myself. I had to pick up myself. One thing I said earlier was that one of the things one have to believe is you believe yourself. You first of all you believe your maker, the Holy Spirit. You believe God. You trust God. This is not the number one source where everything comes from. The secondly, you believe that
Okay, are you with us? Okay, I guess the network was bad. Um, that's an interesting story we have with the young man Ekene, and I can imagine how it looks like. Um, I think I've been privileged to hear that story some time ago. before Ekene jumped into Tingia, the project that is really making wave for him now. Had this business um, venture with friends and good allies. Friends from friends they became family and they've been together for years and they who owned the company. And one day, it was no more, and the pain was so much. And I knew what it was for him then. But it was interesting to see him that he was able to bounce back. And that is one of the things I had wanted him to, give us in this edition of Broken Not Shattered. Because indeed it was quite a very tough moment. You know, waking up to see that the people you called your friends and family all this while became just strangers. You know, also knowing that you've come a long way with series of struggles and all that. It was quite a tough time. But how a Ekene managed to scale through that tough time, and now he is at the point where he is championing a very unique project that has gone global all by himself is an interesting one. We're going to go for a very short break and we'll be back. When we're back, we're going to take Ekene's advice to, what he has to tell the audience, and then we'll take his last words. We're going to go for a very short. It is another edition on Broken Not Shattered. Was still with Ekenel, but I guess he's having these network glitches. Well, our time is almost spent, and it is nice that we have Ekene on the show. But let's not forget about the topic. Tough time never lasts, but tough people do. And believe me, you never can tell how tough you are until you're faced with those tough times. Believe me, it's inherent of us. And I want to encourage, I don't know who is out there listening to us. This is what we do on Broken Nurture. We bring our stories forward just to encourage you to know that if we can, you as well can. Like we had Ekene on this show today. Ekene is a very young man, very promising young man. But can you imagine if Ekene has taken the other way when he was faced with those challenges? Today, he wouldn't be the CEO of 10 years in blockchain and doing well and reaching out to as many lives as possible. But the truth is also that in your tough time is a hidden message for your generation yet unbirthed. And when you're able to come out of that situation, you see the message becomes clear. You see that this situation was practically for you to deliver something that will be coming, later after, and you will be the one taking the lead for them. So again, it's a very interesting moment for us. And like I said, please reach out to us on Facebook, YouTube, and on Instagram. I think we have Mr. Kene back. Mr. Kene, are you back? It's nice having you on the show today. Believe me, this is a very wonderful session with you. Very, very interesting. And we're happy we have you on the show. Um, it's a very interesting time here. Yeah, I think Ekene is still facing some challenges, but we'll have him back as soon as he's ready and the network is working where he is. Again, please write us if you have any story, any story. We believe you have stories that can change life. And on this show, several persons have gotten in contact with us, telling us what they were able to get from our stories. There have been lives that have been affected positively on this show. And I'll also advise you to encourage your friends to subscribe and tune into the channel every Sunday, 9 p.m. West African time, and then 4 p.m. US time. So we can have a very lovely moment and be able to save lives together. Don't forget what we're discussing today. We're looking at tough time never lasts, but tough people do. Have you ever had that situation? I can imagine it. I think before a connect comes up, let's just play with our psyche. What does it look like? Times tough, and then people tough. So the time is always taken. It was one thing my father will always tell me. He will say that trouble will not kill you. Give it some time, and it will be over. Just some time, and it will be over. And to be honest, it is all answerable to time. Believe me, it is just about time, and you see your face on another phase. But the only thing you have to do is to stay strong, however it is. Stay strong and stay positive. There were a few things I could take from Ekene. Got to a point where he was able to understand that he needed to speak to himself. Ekene, it's nice having you back. I
Yeah,
understand you wrote to me it's raining over there, and I see it's disrupting the network. It's
yeah, it's
unfortunate.
really here in Abuja. Yeah,
Yes. So we have a few minutes to end this session. Ekene, can you just, in a nutshell, how are you able to bounce back? And what do you have to say to the audience who might be passing through their tough time? Go ahead, please. Ekene, can you hear me? I get the network is stable, but it's okay. That's fine. That's one of those things. So, like I was saying before, Ekene came up again. One of the things I was able to get from his stories, he got to a point when he was able to talk to himself. He discovered that this life was given to him, not with others, but to him. So first, he needed to look inward and speak positively to himself. So I'm going to encourage you to speak to yourself positively. Make it make it an important decision to always speak to yourself at the trying moment. Again, I also could see the place of family and friends in times like this. And that brings me to asking, what kind of friends am I? And you too to also ask yourself, what kind of friend are you? Because we are connected to each other. We are tied to each other's success and downfall as well. So my energy to one determines how they will be able to pull through in life. Okay, a word of encouragement, an advice, a show of love can help, see others through and reduce the rate of heartbreak. I wish Ekene comes up again so he could tell us a little about the Teen Girls project and how it came about and what he's been doing with it. But it's so unfortunate. He said it's raining and the network is so bad. And if the network is that bad and doesn't allow him to come back on the show, we'll have an Ekene come back, next time and have a lovely time with him. But all the same, don't forget to tune in, with us next week when we talk about broken non shutter. Honestly, it's a lovely time here, and I always enjoy coming on the show to speak to the audience. We get regular calls on almost, you know, all the time. People share their problems. People talk of how they were affected. People share their problems. Honestly, people are passing through a lot. It's a trying time, and please don't make yourself a problem. And don't let people see you as a problem. Again, it's a very nice time here, and we really enjoy having a Kenya on the show, but unfortunately, the network was bad. So I will encourage us, please join us on our platform on Facebook and YouTube and then Instagram. And then please write to us if you have your stories. But before we leave, as our custom, to give our final word love, peace, and more grace. See you next week. Thank you for staying with us. Bye.